Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying that life is full of ups and downs. But how we handle these situations, the way we respond to challenges, is what makes the difference between success and failure. It's not the circumstances that define us. It's the way we manage our feelings in those moments. Control over your feelings is one of the greatest assets you can possess. Think about it. How many times have emotions like fear, anger, or frustration led you to make poor decisions? How often have your feelings influenced your actions in ways that you later regretted? You see, we are all human. We all feel. But the key is not letting those feelings control us. Instead, we need to take charge, to manage them and use them as tools, not as obstacles. The foundation of controlling your feelings lies in awareness. You must recognize your emotions before they take over. If you can identify what you're feeling, you can make the choice to respond wisely. It all starts with mindset. If you allow yourself to believe that you have no control over your emotions, that's exactly what will happen. You'll be at their mercy. The control of your emotions forms the foundation for your whole business. But when you develop the discipline to control your feelings, everything else follows. Your actions become intentional. Your decisions become sharper. Your relationships improve. You begin to understand that while you can't always control external events, you always have the power to control how you react to them. Control your feelings and you will control your life. You will have the power to shape your future because you'll no longer be a prisoner to your emotions. Instead, you'll be the master of your actions, your decisions, and ultimately, your destiny. Every day you make a choice to turn your life toward success and purpose in your life. Every day you become the master of your thoughts and your destiny. Your feelings are a part of you, but they do not define who you are. Too often we make the mistake of thinking that because we feel a certain way in a given moment, that defines us. If we're angry, we think we're an angry person. If we're sad, we think we're weak. But that's not the truth. Your feelings are just signals. They're temporary, fleeting reactions to the world around you, but they do not dictate your worth or your potential. You see, there's a big difference between feeling something and becoming something. You might feel frustrated when things don't go your way, but that frustration doesn't make you a failure. You may feel overwhelmed when life gets tough, but that doesn't mean you're incapable. These emotions are not the measure of who you are. They're simply experiences. It's important to recognize that your emotions are like the weather. Sometimes they're stormy, sometimes they're sunny, but just like the weather, they pass. You have the ability to weather the storms, to let the clouds clear, and to choose how you want to move forward. When you let your emotions define you, you give them control over your life. You allow a temporary feeling to shape your identity, to limit your growth, and to stand in the way of your success. But when you realize that your feelings don't define you, you reclaim your power. You take back control of who you are and who you choose to become. And understand this, you are not your emotions. You are not your fear, your anger, your sadness, or your frustration. You are the person who chooses how to respond to them. You have the power to look beyond your emotions, to rise above them, and to take action that aligns with your values, goals, and purpose. Don't let the way you feel in the moment hold you back. Recognize that you are in control, and you have the ability to transform any feeling into something that serves you. Your emotions are just part of the human experience, but they do not define who you are or who you can become. Emotions are powerful, there's no doubt about it. They can drive you to take action, they can motivate you to succeed, or they can pull you into a spiral of negativity. But while emotions have power, the truth is you are more powerful. You are the one who decides how to react to those emotions, how to channel them, and how to let them shape your journey. Think about it. Have you ever been so angry that you made a decision in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Or perhaps you felt so discouraged that you considered giving up on something important to you. These emotions, in their raw form, are powerful. They can cloud your judgment and shake your resolve. But here's the key. Just because an emotion is powerful doesn't mean you have to let it control you. You, and only you, have the power to choose how to respond. Emotions are like waves. Sometimes they're calm and other times they crash. But you are the one who has the ability to swim through those waves, to ride them, or even to steer your course in another direction. The person who masters their emotions is the person who gains control over their life. When emotions are allowed to run unchecked, they often lead to reactive behavior. You might make decisions that don't align with your values or goals. You might let a bad mood decide your day, or let fear stop you from taking a necessary risk. But when you realize that your emotions, while powerful, are not in charge, you free yourself to act with intention. You tap into a deeper strength, a strength that comes from within. An inspirement that comes from within is greater than inferiority. You tap into within the system of emotions, and you listen to what you feel. This is where true power lies, not in suppressing your emotions or ignoring them, but in using them as a guide, not a master. A powerful emotion like anger, for example, can fuel you to overcome an obstacle or challenge. But when anger controls you, it can cloud your judgment and push you into decisions that hurt you in the long run. The difference is in the way you choose to harness that emotion. Remember, you have the ability to take a step back, to pause, and to decide how you want to channel your emotions. Whether you're facing frustration, disappointment, or excitement, you can turn these feelings into positive, productive energy. Your emotions may be strong, but your capacity to control them is even stronger. Never forget that you are more powerful than any feeling you have. You are in charge of your actions, your decisions, and your destiny. When you learn to master your emotions, you will unlock a level of personal strength that will carry you to success, no matter what challenges come your way. Mastering your response is where true power lies. You see, life is not about what happens to you, but how you react to what happens. The challenges you face, the obstacles that get in your way, the people who test your patience, none of these things determine your future. Your response does. It's easy to be reactive, to let the circumstances around you dictate your emotions and your actions. Your emotions and your actions, but if you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to achieve anything of significance, you need to master how you respond. And that's why I'm exploring this topic through the lens of, the real question is, what will you do when things don't go as planned? When someone cuts you off in traffic? When things at work aren't going the way you had hoped? When your efforts don't seem to pay off? These situations will come, and in those moments, your ability to respond with calm, with clarity, and with purpose is what will make the difference. Most people respond impulsively, emotionally, without thinking about the consequences. They let frustration, anger, or fear dictate their actions. But here's the thing, when you react without thought, you give up control. It's in the moments of difficulty where you have the greatest opportunity to choose a different path, to choose to respond with discipline, to respond with patience, and most importantly, to respond with action that aligns with your goals. When you master your response, you control your destiny. You don't let life's challenges throw you off course. You adapt and continue moving forward, wiser and stronger than before. You adapt and continue moving forward, wiser and stronger than before. Now, this doesn't mean you suppress your feelings or deny your emotions. Emotions are part of being human. But mastering your response means you don't let your emotions control your actions. It's about taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and deciding on a course of action that aligns with your values, with your long-term vision, not just what feels good in the moment. You've heard it said that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. The truth is, your response is the deciding factor in how your life unfolds. Will you respond in a way that moves you toward your goals, or will you let your impulses dictate your direction? The choice is always yours. And yours is yours. Embrace it. So when things go wrong, when life challenges you, don't react, respond. Respond with purpose, with clarity, and with the intention of making the most of every situation. Master your response, and you will master your life. Your success is built not just on what happens, but on how you choose to respond to what happens, and how you choose to respond to what happens, and make progress towards your personal and professional goals. Master the art of responding to what happens comes more naturally and efficiently than you might think. Awareness is the key that unlocks your potential. It's the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. Without awareness, you are essentially going through life on autopilot, reacting to whatever comes your way without thought or intention. The truth is, if you don't know where you are, you'll never know how to get where you want to go. A fact checker. Awareness is the starting point for everything you want to achieve. And it's the tool that allows you to make smarter decisions, avoid unnecessary pitfalls, and take control of your future. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught up in the hustle of life, rushing from one task to the next, only to look up and realize you've been stuck in the same place for months or even years? Why does that happen? It happens because you were too busy reacting to the noise around you rather than pausing to reflect on where you are and where you're headed. When you lack awareness, you let external circumstances and the opinions of others guide you instead of making decisions based on your true desires and purpose. Awareness means being present in the moment, understanding what's happening around you and recognizing how your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with your goals. It's about being honest with yourself, understanding your strengths, and acknowledging your weaknesses. Without that honesty, without that self-awareness, you can't make progress. You'll be moving forward blindly, hoping for the best, but not taking the necessary steps to ensure success. Once you become aware of where you are, you can begin to make deliberate changes. You'll understand what's working in your life and what isn't. You'll see the patterns, both positive and negative, and you'll have the power to shift your course accordingly. Awareness gives you the ability to spot opportunities that others might miss, to recognize when you need to take action, and to know when it's time to adjust your strategy. It's important to realize that awareness is not just about understanding your external circumstances. It's about understanding yourself. How do you react to stress? How do you respond to success or failure? Are you allowing fear or doubt to dictate your decisions? Awareness allows you to gain insight into these internal triggers, which empowers you to control them rather than letting them control you. The moment you become aware of your thoughts, your actions, and your environment, you begin to realize how much influence you actually have over your life. You start making conscious choices rather than reacting out of habit. You realize that you are the creator of your own reality, and with this awareness, you can craft a life that is aligned with your true values and vision instead of drifting aimlessly through life, reacting to circumstances, and letting opportunities pass you by. So, make awareness a priority. Take time each day to check in with yourself and reflect on where you are. What are your goals? How are you showing up in the world? What habits do you need to change? The more aware you become, the more you'll see the doors of opportunity open before you. You'll gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to take the right actions that move you toward the life you want to live. Awareness is the key. Unlock it and you'll unlock your full potential. Fear has a way of creeping into our lives, often at the most inconvenient times. It whispers doubts in your ear, holds you back from taking chances, and convinces you to play it safe. It tells you that the risk is too great, the road too difficult, and the failure too painful. But here's the truth. Fear is not a reason to avoid action. It's a signal that you're on the edge of growth. The key is not to let fear dictate your decisions, but to learn to face it head on and use it as a driving force rather than a roadblock. Every successful person you admire has faced fear at some point. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short is how they respond to fear. Successful people don't avoid fear. They understand it, confront it, and move forward despite it. They don't let fear make their decisions for them. Instead, they take it into account, acknowledge it, and keep pushing forward anyway. You see, fear has a power over us only when we give it the power. It's a natural emotion. There's nothing wrong with feeling afraid. It's how we respond to fear that makes all the difference. Fear can either stop you in your tracks, or it can fuel you to move forward with more determination. The choice is yours. When fear shows up, it's often a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're about to do something new, something that has the potential to take you to the next level. And yes, there's always the possibility of failure, but failure is not the end. It's simply part of the journey. The real failure comes when you let fear keep you from taking that first step, when you let it paralyze you into inaction. Think about all the opportunities you've passed on in the past because of fear. Perhaps it was the fear of starting a new business, the fear of asking for that promotion, or the fear of speaking up in front of others. In those moments, fear won. But you have the power to turn it around. You can choose to act in spite of the fear, to move forward and take that leap, even when you don't feel entirely ready. Often, it's in those moments of discomfort that you'll find the greatest rewards. It's important to realize that you don't need to be fearless. Fear is not something that you can simply erase from your life, but you can decide not to let it control you. The key is to take action, even when fear is present. Take small steps. Build your courage with each decision you make, knowing that fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to hold you back. The more you confront fear, the more it loses its power over you. In the end, the worst thing you can do is let fear make your decisions. It's not your circumstances that determine your success, but your ability to act despite the fear. Every decision you make is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fears. When you let courage lead the way instead of fear, you start to realize that the only limits that truly exist are the ones you place on yourself. Take control and don't let fear dictate your future. The life you want is on the other side of that fear, waiting for you to step into it. Discipline in your thinking is the cornerstone of success. You see, the mind is like a garden. If you don't plant the right seeds, weeds will take over. If you don't consciously choose the thoughts that take root in your mind, negative, unproductive thoughts will grow and they'll keep you from reaching your potential. Success doesn't come from chance. It comes from a disciplined, focused mind that directs your thoughts toward what you want, not what you don't want. Too many people let their thoughts run wild. They react to circumstances, they let emotions cloud their judgment, and they let doubts and fears dictate their thinking. But successful people understand that your thoughts create your reality. What you think about, what you focus on, is what you'll eventually see in your life. If you want success, you have to be intentional with your thinking. This is where discipline comes in. Being disciplined in your thinking means staying focused on your goals, regardless of the distractions around you. It means choosing to think thoughts that align with your vision, even when challenges arise. It means not letting negativity, fear, or doubt take root in your mind, and instead replacing them with thoughts of possibility, opportunity, and action. It's about taking control of your mind instead of letting your mind control you. Discipline in thinking is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Every day you have to guard your mind against the negative influences of the world. You have to choose to feed your mind with positive, constructive thoughts that will move you toward your goals. If you're constantly feeding your mind with worry, fear, or negative self-talk, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you feed it with vision, possibility, and action-oriented thoughts, you'll be building the mental foundation for success. This kind of discipline doesn't come easy. It requires effort, consistency, and a strong commitment to your personal growth. But the rewards are immense. A disciplined mind is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger your mind is, the more resilient you become in the face of adversity. The stronger your mental discipline, the less likely you are to be swayed by temporary emotions or circumstances. You'll stay focused, and you'll stay on track to achieve your dreams. Your thoughts are the seeds that will either lead you to success or keep you trapped in mediocrity. It's not enough to just have goals. You have to think about them every day. You have to consistently direct your thoughts toward solutions, not problems. You have to think in terms of opportunity, not limitation. Discipline in thinking means making those positive, empowering thoughts your default and rejecting the negative ones before they take root. Every successful person you admire has learned to control their thinking. They've disciplined themselves to focus on what they want, to believe in their potential, and to block out the noise that distracts them. You have that same power. When you master your thoughts, you master your destiny. Remember, success begins in the mind. Get disciplined in your thinking, and you'll find that everything else falls into place. Taking responsibility for your feelings is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It's easy to blame external factors, the people around you, your circumstances, or the situations you find yourself in. It's easy to say, I feel this way because of what happened to me, or I feel this way because of how they treated me. But the truth is, no one else can control your feelings unless you allow them to. You are the one who decides how to respond emotionally, and by taking full responsibility for how you feel, you reclaim the power to shape your experience. When you take responsibility for your feelings, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop giving away your power to other people and external events. You begin to understand that you are not at the mercy of your emotions. Instead, you recognize that your feelings are a direct result of your thoughts and beliefs, and you have the ability to control both. This doesn't mean you'll never feel angry, frustrated, or sad. Those emotions are part of being human. But it does mean you don't let those emotions dictate your actions or your future. When you take responsibility for your feelings, you stop making excuses and stop blaming others for how you feel. You start to realize that your feelings are your own creation, and you have the ability to change them. Imagine what your life would look like if you didn't let others or circumstances dictate your emotional state. If you didn't let one bad day, one difficult conversation, or one setback determine your mood or your outlook on life. By taking responsibility for your feelings, you choose to respond to life with awareness, intention, and control. You choose how you want to feel, regardless of what's happening around you. This responsibility also means that when things go wrong, you don't throw your hands up and say, "It's not my fault." Instead, you look inward. You ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What thoughts or beliefs am I holding on to that are making me feel this way? You don't let yourself off the hook. You take the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make better choices moving forward. You're not denying your feelings, but you are choosing to not be controlled by them. It's about acknowledging that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. You can choose to rise above negative emotions, to choose gratitude over frustration, optimism over fear, and calm over chaos. The moment you take responsibility for your feelings, you stop being a passive participant in your own life and become the active creator of your emotional experience. Measuring your success and arriving thereby can't stop us from doing more, and we can always do more. It's not easy, and it's certainly not always comfortable, but taking responsibility for your feelings is the path to personal growth and emotional maturity. It's the key to maintaining your peace of mind, regardless of external circumstances. The more you practice it, the stronger your emotional resilience will become. You'll find that you can weather any storm, handle any challenge, and thrive no matter what comes your way. Remember, you are the one in control of how you feel, no one else. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you unlock your true power. You stop letting life happen to you, and you begin making life happen for you. Feelings are temporary. They come and go, like the weather. Sometimes they're stormy, sometimes they're clear. But actions, those are what really matter. Actions have consequences, whether they are good or bad, whether they're deliberate or impulsive. What you choose to do in a given moment can change the course of your life. That's why it's so important to remember that while feelings are fleeting, the results of your actions are lasting. Human feelings matter. The results of your actions are lasting. So many people make the mistake of letting their feelings dictate their actions. They act based on how they feel in the moment, whether it's out of anger, frustration, fear, or even excitement. But those feelings are often fleeting, and acting on them without thinking can lead to consequences that last much longer than the emotion itself. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger only to regret it later? How many times have you let fear hold you back from taking action, only to realize that the opportunity slipped through your fingers? Feelings are not the best guide for making decisions because they are temporary and can be misleading. One moment you might feel great, and the next you feel down. One moment you might be motivated to work hard, and the next you might feel discouraged. But if you let your actions be dictated by these fluctuating emotions, you end up making decisions based on temporary states. And those decisions can steer you off course. Your actions, on the other hand, are what set your trajectory. They are the ones that create real, tangible results in your life. Every action you take has a consequence, for better or worse. That's why it's essential to act with intention. It's not about denying your feelings, but rather recognizing that they are temporary and not always in line with your long-term goals. The key is to be aware of your feelings, understand where they come from, and then take actions that align with where you want to go in life, not just with how you feel in that moment. Think about the decisions you've made in the past. Some were impulsive based on how you felt in the moment, and others were thoughtful, driven by your goals and values. The consequences of those impulsive actions may still be with you today. Maybe you said something you didn't mean, made a hasty decision, or missed an opportunity because you let fear hold you back. On the other hand, the consequences of thoughtful actions, activities aligned with your values and goals, have likely led you to progress, growth, and success. That's why it's important to remember that actions have far more weight than feelings. The ability to control your actions, to take deliberate steps in the direction of your goals, regardless of how you feel, is what sets successful people apart from those who just drift through life. When you take responsibility for your actions and act with purpose, you are shaping the future you want to create, rather than letting temporary feelings determine your path.